My name is Angela.
My name is Nicole.
And welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast. Hello, Stitchers!
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to another amazing episode of the Ominous Stitch podcast.
Yay.
Yay!
It's like, what do I say after that every time?
I don't know, it's something different every time.
We're just so happy to have you.
Yay, we are.
Yay,
we love our
welcome back.
Stitchers. Welcome back.
Yay.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know any other words to that song.
That's perfect.
Welcome back, Cotter. Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. No. No.
No,
Just
yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm that
yeah,
old.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. Bueller.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited for today's episode.
Me too.
I don't even know what today is. Oh wait, yes I do because
Yes,
I'm
you do.
reading your title. I do know what it is. Ha ha ha.
She's reading my notes.
Cheated. I
Don't you
cheated.
read my notes. We gotta like change our way we sit so I can stare at you and you don't see my notes.
I know. I read your notes while you're doing it.
I
a
do
lot
that
of
too
times.
to her, so
You
it's
do.
okay.
Well, my notes are like right in front of us because they're on my
We're kind
recording
of next to each other.
computer. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Just so you guys know a little bit of our setup. We sit next to each other.
Hey.
Hi. Because we're friends. We like each other.
I hope so.
Yay.
Yeah,
We're still friends after all this time. It's amazing.
We're so cool. Well, what's got you in stitches, Angela?
Okay. So this stitch comes courtesy of my old neighbor, and I'm going to not say her name, so bleep to
Bleep.
protect the innocent here.
Okay.
Because I didn't ask her permission to tell the story, but this story is so cool.
Ooh,
Okay.
yay.
So my old neighbor, who I haven't seen in about 10 years, because that was when they moved. We lived in our old house, and they were there for about a year before they moved and left state. And then they came back. So now they're living in California. And she came over last week to visit the farm and to check in because it's been a long time.
That's
since
very
I've seen her.
nice. Okay.
And yeah, it was fun. And anyway, so she came over and we were talking. I'm like, so what brought you back to California? And she's like, okay, well, this is a story.
All about
How my life. Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, but she's like, well, I don't know how much you believe in the paranormal and in ghosts. And I was
you're
like,
who are you talking to?
I'm like, well, I have a podcast where my best friend and I talk about paranormal and ghosts and all that stuff quite a lot. So I
that's all
definitely
we
believe
talk
in it. Right. Well, we talk about crochet a little bit.
A little bit.
But anyway, I was like, oh, no, I believe in it. And she's like, okay, well, this is what happened. So they moved to, I think, North Carolina. I think that's where they moved to. So they moved to North Carolina. And before they moved, they, obviously went house hunting, and they found this house that they decided was so cute and charming. And it was in, an okay neighborhood. And they're like, oh, let's rent this sight unseen. They didn't go to the house to check it out first.
Wow.
They just saw
How
pictures
come
of it.
people do that? They did that to your house too, your previous one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, yes.
Pictures
they,
only?
They had the pictures only, and then they had their realtor
Look at
kind of live stream as they walked through
Right.
the house, and the realtor was asking them a lot of questions.
Right.
And I totally watched all of that happen on the Ring cameras that I was still like connected to.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
Yeah, that was like bad, but it's not bad. It was my house. I
Sure.
want to see who's going in my house.
I would too.
Anyway, so, and then they didn't see it in person until like the final walkthrough. And I don't think the wife was there. I think it was
Oh
just
my
the husband.
gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Can you believe that?
No,
It's
I
crazy.
cannot.
But but whatever. People do that. People do
Yes.
that. They buy sight unseen. So like my old neighbor, and it was a rental. So they showed up, they went, and it was cute, and they liked the house. They enjoyed it. But the primary bedroom was downstairs. All the other bedrooms were upstairs. And she said she always had a weird feeling going back into the primary bedroom. She's like, I don't really know. It was, kind of dark. It just felt uncomfortable. And every other part of the house was fine. Just the primary bedroom
Bad
was a little
energy.
bit off.
Okay.
And you know how when you move to a new house, you often get mail from the previous owners, right? So,
Sure.
she would get previous owner mail, and, she'd be like, you usually toss it aside. But this one name like kind of stood out to her. And so she remembered this one name, even though it was like other people's mail too that she would get. But this one name stood out to her. So it kind of like stuck in her brain, this one name. And then she's like, I don't know why I have a connection to it. Maybe because, it's a Hispanic name and I have a Hispanic name. So maybe that's why. I don't know. She's like, but, it stood out to me.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And so she said one night she was going to bed And her husband was already in bed. And so she goes and lays down. And she lays down and she feels this wave kind of wash over her. And she was like, well, that's kind of weird. And so she opened up her eyes and there was a face right in front of her.
No.
And she just stared at the face and she said it was like a man and he was angry.
Ooh.
And he was giving her this like really angry, dirty look. And it was just there in front of her face for a good like 10 to 20 seconds. She said it felt like it was a really long time.
That is a long time.
Until it just dissipated.
And she didn't scream or anything?
No, she just laid there and was like, and then the next morning she was like, I think we need to move.
She slept? I would not be able to sleep. I would have been up watching TV all night long.
I think she was just like, maybe it was my imagination. I don't know. But I don't know. Just the next day, she finally decided to tell her husband. She's like, I think we need to move. I think we need to send the kids back to California. I think we need to move back to California. We've got to figure out a way to make it work.
So why did they move in the first place?
They moved in the first place because to move out of California because California is expensive.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
And to be closer to New York because a couple of their kids were going to go to NYU, so they wanted to be closer.
Sure.
And so they were like, let's move.
Proximity. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
So they sent their kids back
to
California to live with her sister for a little while before they were able to move back. So they had to spend the summer in that house, but they moved out of that bedroom and moved upstairs in the kids' bedrooms.
I'm so glad the dad, the guy, was like, cool, okay.
He is fully supportive of her.
Good.
He's a very sweet man.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, whatever you want to do, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make it happen. And they had to, finish up the summer because he was teaching summer schools. They had to finish up, and then they were able to move back to California. And she, told her husband about it. And she's like, there's a ghost in here. There's a ghost. So they moved back, but I don't know if it was before they moved back or while they were still in the old house, but she decided to just, get on Facebook and do a search and see if she could find that name that stood out in her head of the previous owner. So this was like after she saw the face, right?
Okay.
So she looks up the guy, finds him on Facebook, and it's the guy. It's the same guy.
She found from the name stuck in her head.
Yeah, from the name, she entered the name and the town that they were living in, and she found that guy. And he had passed.
In the house.
Thinking it was in the house. I was like, oh, he thinks that that's still his house, and he was telling you to get out.
Yeah,
that's his house. What are you doing in his house? Get out of my house.
Oh, that's so spooky.
Isn't that crazy?
And she moved.
Yeah, they moved. They got out of the house.
Did she say anything if she felt anything in the other rooms?
No, just in that room.
He must have passed in that room.
He must have passed in that room.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Crazy.
Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah, real ghost story from somebody I actually know.
I love it.
Yeah, so I thought I would share that with you because I knew you'd love it.
I love it. Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's just creepy.
It's scary, but cool.
Yeah. I just feel bad that she moved all this across country and then she had to move back because of a ghost.
Yeah. Well, I think there were other instances. They just it wasn't really working.
Because I was going to say they could have moved to a different place in North Carolina. Is that where they were?
I think so. I think that's where they were. Yeah. So they could have moved to a different house, but I think they were just like, no, we've got to go back to California.
Yeah. Well, welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Sorry you got chased out by a ghost.
Right.
Wow, that's cool.
Isn't that a cool story?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing.
Now, I'm excited because you sent me
my
a TikTok, but I didn't look at the TikTok. And you're like, that's okay. Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
This is my stitch.
Yeah. And I want to know what it is. So
it's so cool. Okay.
Tell me.
So it's an NDE. Okay.
Ooh.
But it's from a doctor. He is an ER doctor. And this was his story. Okay. So he was working in the ER. A family came in with a 5-year-old girl who fell into the family pool.
Oh.
And she drowned.
Oh, poor
and
girl.
she wasn't breathing. Nothing was happening. So they had to put a intubator in her. They had to get her. And thankfully, after 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Her pulse came back.
That's a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
And then she was okay. And then after even 10 more minutes, they were able to remove the intubator. So she was able to breathe on her own. So the ER doctor went to tell the news to the parents, the good news, and say, she's doing okay. She's going to live. And they were just over the moon and then so happy. And the dad, though, was in tears, and he was just so wrought with just distraught. And he's like, no, this is my fault. He's like, no, sir, this was an accident. Accidents happen all the time. He's like, no, you don't understand. When I was a kid, I was at my grandparents' house, and they have a river behind their house. And my grandparents said, you cannot go into the river. But being a little 7-year-old kid, I didn't listen. I went into the river. I got in trouble. I was calling for help. And my grandfather came and he dived in, or dove in, and he saved me. But in that process, he died. So I killed my grandfather, and I almost killed my daughter, and it's all my fault. It's all my fault. He's like, no, sir, it's okay. She's going to live. Accidents happen, right?
Right.
So the
that
next,
dad,
yeah,
man.
he was, yeah. So the next morning, he's still there, and he's checking on the family. The family's over the moon that she's going to live through this crazy ordeal, and she's waking up. So they're, talking to the family, and then he's, making sure everything's good. Then he turns to the little girl, and he's like, hey, how are you feeling? She's like, I'm okay. She's like, do you remember anything? She's like, no, I don't remember anything. And he's like, do you remember anybody? She's like, no, but I do remember one person. And he's like, oh, who was that? He's like, I don't remember. His name was Sam. And she's like, do you remember anything about Sam? So we're like thinking Sam was the paramedic or somebody like doing this, tubes and stuff. She's like, no, he was holding my hand. And she's like, what did he look like? And just, again, maybe it's someone that works at the hospital. And she's like, he was wearing a hat and a funny coat. Dad's on his phone, bringing up Facebook, and shows her a photo. Is this Sam? She's like, oh my gosh, yes, that's Sam. He's like, to his wife,
That's Grandpa. I've got chills.
That's my grandfather. And that was it. And
I was like, oh my gosh.
So she was saved
by Sam.
By Grandpa.
Oh my gosh. It went full circle. I
went full circle.
Chills everywhere. I'm probably turning red right now.
But that was from an ER doctor. And
story.
he went into it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So
that's
there you
incredible.
go. So there are people looking after us.
Yes, we all have our guardian angels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Sam's
beautiful.
still watching over, which was really sweet. And I'm hoping that the dad found some solace in that.
Some peace in that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's not his fault. But I know he's carrying all that guilt from his... He needs to go talk to a medium so Sam can be like,
yes.
No.
Yeah. You're
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Things happen.
Oh,
so there you go. That's my
That's
stitch.
incredible.
Tiki talk, man. This is why I stay up. My feed is insane, everybody. But that came up and I was like, I have to share it. So
that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good share.
Yay.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
But yours, though,
mine ties into our
episode.
Yay.
But before we get to that,
yes,
you have some cool stitching to do,
I
right?
do. Yes. Should we get stitching?
Yes.
Okay, Stitchers. So for this week's Stitch, I was inspired by our movie. So we watched Winchester.
Yes, we'll get to that soon.
Yes, we'll get to that. And I want to go there. So that has to be a mom trip. We'll have to go there. Have you been?
I have never been. My husband has. He says he didn't feel any haunted. It's silly, but it is a cool house.
It's crazy. It's a crazy house.
Yes.
So anyway, I was inspired by that time period, the Victorian era. And there's some like really cool crochet stuff that happens in that era.
You brought some cool ones, like that crazy stitch. Remember that? That was a Victorian stitch?
The crazy stitch was a Victorian stitch.
I like that.
Yeah, that was cool. And had all those like weird pockety things on it. So this one, I decided to get my inspiration from all the lacy kind of stuff that's from that era. And this also reminded me of our patrons that went to the Lumber Baron Inn, and they sent me a picture of their tablecloth, which was a lace crochet tablecloth.
Love it.
Right? So this kind of reminded me of that. It's got some similar patterns to it, but it's a blanket.
Oh.
I was going to make like a collar, but I'm like, I'm never going to wear a collar.
No.
So, but I will use a blanket.
Everybody needs blankets.
Everybody use a blanket. And this is a free pattern. It comes from Yarnspirations. Yay, Yarnspirations. We love them. And this blanket is called the Summer in Devonshire Throw.
Ooh, what a name.
Summer in Devonshire.
Devonshire.
Yes. And it looks like it's a whole bunch of like little... It could be like little squares that you have to stitch together, but no, it is a crochet as you go. So all these little different motifs, all these little different lacy motifs.
Yeah.
come together as you crochet it together.
Cool.
So you don't do all these little separate things and then put them together.
Yeah,
It is all part of
all in
one piece.
I
all in
love
one
it.
piece.
That's easier.
So it's really cool.
Okay.
I only just begun. I've only just begun.
Wasn't that in 1408?
Yes, that was the song.
Yeah. I love it. Full circle.
Yeah, I've only just begun, so I'm still in the first motif. But after round 11, all the other motifs kind of start coming together, and then they join as they go. So I'm excited to see how this goes. But so far, it's really fun. The main stitching that you do, there's a lot of chaining because it's lace, right? So you do a lot of chaining in the lace.
Sure.
You do have some cluster stitches.
Ooh, what's a cluster stitch?
A cluster is kind
Like
of
a
like a
bubble?
2 together.
Oh, okay.
So for this one, it's a 2 together. It can be any number of stitches that you're going to do together. It's usually like 3 or more, but this one is just 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it tells you, it's like, this is the cluster that you're going to do. This is, blah, blah, blah.
Got it.
So it kind of lets you know. You also get to do trebles.
Yay!
Our
Not British,
favorite.
right?
Not British. I had to double check to make sure that this, I'm like, no. This is American
Okay, good.
terms. It's
Okay.
Yarnspirations, American terms.
Got it.
So trebles, remember, you yarn over twice, and then
That's
you pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2.
Right.
Right? So you get to do that. So, but other than that, most of the stitches we've worked with before. You have a picot. The picots you do to finish it up. So you have these wonderful little bump thingies.
Yay.
So we have some picot stitches, but
Okay.
other than that, all the stitches, it's
Oh.
just chaining, double crochets, single crochets, and it's just fun because
But
you
you're
start.
doing it in a circle, right?
Yeah, it's in the round.
Yay,
You just
I
get
could
to
do
go
that.
around and around and around and around. So yeah,
I love it.
very fun.
Yay.
I'm enjoying it so far.
What she has now is really gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm only on round, I think 6.
Okay.
6 or 7, and so there's a lot to go here, but I'm excited to see where this takes me, and I'm excited to finish this off for you guys. So again, it's the Summer and Devonshire Throw.
Summer.
Sorry, I pulled away from the mic a little bit. Summer and Devonshire Throw, and I'm showing her a
Wow, I
picture.
love
It's very
it.
cool. It's very Victorian. It's very
Gorgeous.
lacy.
Yeah.
But it is a very summery blanket.
I was going to
So
say, it's very light.
if you just want something kind of like on your
On you?
legs, yeah.
Because that's me a lot of the time now. It's like I'm really hot at night, so I don't want a thick blanket.
Right. You
But I
just
do
want
want
like
something
a
on
little
me.
light something on you
Yeah.
because it's cozy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping. I want something.
Yeah, you just need a little something cozy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a really cool blanket. I
Gorgeous.
can't wait to get further into it
Okay.
and get going. And if you guys want to try it, go to yarnspirations.com, look up the Summer and Devonshire Throw, and give it a whirl.
Yay.
And see what you guys are doing here. It's so cool.
It is really cool.
Yay.
Good job, Angela. Get fine.
Thank you. Yay.
I hope you can finish because I know we're terrible at that.
I know. This is the year of getting things done, right?
We're trying.
I still have I'm also processing all of my
That's
alpaca fiber. So that's a whole other ball of wax that's taken a lot of my crochet time.
We need so much
But
more time.
I know. I think I was up to, I need an
At least
additional
8.
24 hours in my
okay.
day now.
Wow.
That's where I am.
Okay.
A 2-day.
Another extra
Yeah.
day.
What is the Men in Black? What is the day that they work on? Is it like a 72-hour day that they work
Something
in?
crazy. Yeah. I was like, I just need at least 8 more hours because I need sleep, obviously. But I was like, I just need maybe 8 more hours. But
8,
if you want
yeah.
24, then
I want 24 because
All
I have a
right.
lot of stuff to do on the farm.
Okay.
I have a lot of yarn to process. I have
Yes,
a lot of crochet to do.
crocheting.
And then at some point, I want to just
sit.
relax.
Where's that time?
Who am I kidding?
guess
Nobody
when we're
ever gets to
older.
relax. Yeah.
When we can't move anymore.
Oh no. Speaking of can't move, this is like a whole other tangent, but I have a fan bike. Do you know
Yes.
fan bikes? Ugh.
Yeah, they're hard.
So I was on the fan bike and I did a 4-minute Tabata, which is 20 seconds hard
Yeah.
and then 10 seconds rest.
Ugh.
20 seconds hard. And you do 8 cycles of that, hence 4 minutes because math, right?
Yes.
It was 4 minutes. After the first 30 seconds, I couldn't breathe.
That's me.
And then I finished the whole thing and it took me at
did it.
least an hour to to breathe normal
Yes.
and to calm down. I'm like, why?
Because we're getting
How?
older.
4 minutes. I'm like, I can run for 40 minutes, like 10 times that, hashtag because math.
Yeah.
I can do that and be fine. But like if I get on that fan bike for 4 minutes, it kills me.
Well, at least you can run. I can barely do that.
Oh,
I run for like a minute. I'm like, I hate running now.
my legs were so jello-y. I was like, oh, I can't move.
Good job. You did it though.
I did it. Yeah, we'll see if I do it ever again.
You tried it and I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right.
that was a tangent in the crochet talk, but
love
I
it.
am so excited. Let's get to some haunted houses, shall we?
Yes, it's story time.
Story time.
All right. If you've been with us since the beginning, one of our earlier episodes Angela reported on was the Whaley House. Do you remember that?
Yes, I love the Whaley House.
Yes.
So the Whaley House gives me a sense of peace. Like I felt very peaceful there.
Interesting.
I loved it. I felt very, I like,
She's like, I'm going to rest
like
with the
this
ghosts.
place is so nice. It was so comforting and comfortable to me being there.
Strange.
Not necessarily in the house, but on the grounds. I was like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
that
very
wasn't
calming
bad.
and nice.
Hey, ghosts.
I was like, I don't know why I'm not like terrified
Right?
in this house. I did feel woozy going up the stairs,
Yes.
but other than that, I was like, this
Meh.
house is fine. But
Yeah.
being outside on the grounds, I was like, I love it.
Comforting.
Yeah.
All right, she's in her element. Well, it's considered, I'm sure we said this, but it's considered one of the most haunted houses in California and even in the United States. So you're comfortable.
I was
in that
comfortable.
setting. There you go.
Yeah, you got tugged in that
Yes.
at that house.
Which we'll talk about a
Yeah.
little too in this. But I figured since California has so many haunted houses, we should dive into what they are and where they are and the chilling stories behind them.
Yay.
But no, I did not intentionally choose the pattern, but the 4 haunted houses I'm discussing all reside in mid or northern California.
Mom trip.
Yes.
Mom trip.
Yeah, I'm sure there's tons in Southern California, but these 4 stood out most like crazy. So, hey,
Okay.
they're
Mom
all
trip.
up there. Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
Deal.
I'm excited.
All right, the first one, which is gorgeous and costs more money than maybe we should spend, but it's the Madrona Manor, and it's in Sonoma County.
Oh, well, it's Sonoma County. Yeah.
Exactly.
We got to go wine tasting and then go there.
There you go. Yes, there we go. Yeah, so we start, like I said, it's a beautiful state, Sonoma County, near the town of Healdsburg, called Madrona Manor. It was completed in 1881. John Alexander Paxton had this charming 17-room, 3-story gabled property built to relax on weekends because he had 2 properties. He's like, oh, I'm going to go work in the city and then I'm going to come relax on the
This
weekend.
is his weekend house?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. His family stayed here mostly, but he was going back and forth.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
had a big job
a
in
job.
the city.
Yep. So there's a picture for her.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Paxton was hoping to build a winery on his property, but sadly he passed away on a steamer ship on his way to England in 1888.
Oh no.
In his will, he left an odd amount of estate to his family. This is crazy. A quarter of it went to his sister-in-law, Mary McClellan, 9/16 to his wife, Hannah. What? And 3/16 to his second son, Charles. How does that work in math? I don't know.
Oh, well, a quarter is 4/16.
Oh, there you go. You're
right.
right. Yeah. I did it. I did the math. Okay. Yeah. Hashtag because math. There you go.
Yes.
Now, the odd tidbit of this info on Wikipedia is that he was very disappointed in his eldest son, Blitz. So he disinherited him.
Oh, how heartbreaking and cruel.
Yeah. Like, I will give it to my sister-in-law, but not my own son.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Poor Blitz.
Oh, Blitz.
Yeah.
You didn't see that Blitz coming. That was hilarious. Okay, you guys. I made that joke, right? Hopefully we caught the Blitz joke. And then Nicole went for a high five. I went to slap the couch. And then she went to slap the couch. And I went for a high five. Eventually we got the high five going. We were so loud doing that we cut.
Triggered feedback.
Yeah, we triggered feedback. And we got... It cut off the sound for us. It stopped recording for a minute.
We're dorks. Okay. You just know
Oh,
that
I
already.
love us.
Okay. All right. It is rumored that Hannah kept John's body in a
Ooh.
lead-lined glass coffin in the mansion until she herself passed away in 1902.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to do the math, but that is way too long to keep a
A dead body in your house.
Oh.
in your house.
It is the, Victorian era.
I
Yeah.
guess.
So
Sure.
oh,
Whatever.
man.
That's still gruesome.
That's a long time to lay in wake. That is
Heyo.
not good.
It's not good. Then, when son Charles's wife ran away with another man, he apparently committed suicide inside the home in 1910.
Oh no!
So we got some crazy energy.
We have a
going on
dead
right now.
body hanging out in there for like what,
Almost 20 years.
Ugh,
And then we've got his son, sadly.
the son, yeah.
Now, even though Blitz was left out of the will, he had to take care of the property. It's like,
Oh man,
It's
this
come full
poor
circle.
kid.
yeah.
I mean, sure he's not a kid anymore, but
No,
man,
yeah. So he decided, though, to subdivide the land and sold 218.32 acres along with the buildings to a D.H. Botchford in 1918 for $17,500.
dude, I'd take that.
Right?
Yeah, holy crap, that's a lot of acres.
Yes.
To sell off.
232 acres or 218 acres. Yeah.
218 acres
Yeah.
for 17.
Only 17 grand. A
Oh.
cool 17 grand.
Yes, please.
Yes, I'll take it.
Yes.
In 1981, the property, which was trimmed down to only 8 acres, so I'm guessing a
still
lot of it, it's still huge.
huge. Yeah.
A lot of it probably to the city and everybody else.
Yeah.
It was turned into a country inn by new owner John Harry Muir. Then it changed hands to Bill and Trudy Conrad. This now trendy inn has 23 guest rooms and suites, some in the carriage house on the property. So there's a big house and then there's also a carriage
Right.
house.
Yeah.
But look at this, Angela. Look,
It is gorgeous.
Look.
Oh my gosh, Nicole. Look at the dining room.
Yes,
Look
it's-
at that
it was
ceiling.
Upgraded.
Oh, it is gorgeous.
yeah,
People.
it was upgraded.
Oh, that sitting room is so pretty.
That's very pretty.
We have to go to there. It's so
Yes.
pretty.
Now, what makes this gorgeous building so spooky?
Well,
room-
a dead body for 20 years and a suicide. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, the rumored ghost stories, of course, but these spirits are more over to watch over the property rather than malevolent spirits.
Yeah.
So when they were renovating the mansion into the hotel in the late 70s, early 80s, workmen and carpenters felt uneasy and then told wife of John Muir that while working, they kept getting an eerie feeling that some unseen presence was watching them.
Yeah, because previous owners don't like, I mean, we hear about that all the time.
Every time.
Ghosts always get stirred up whenever you're doing construction because they don't want anything happening to their property. They're going to watch over it and
Yeah.
make sure that you don't do anything bad or wrong or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like it. And this is again a recurring theme in my actual story time today.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the inn opened, employees mentioned they also felt being studied by some phantom presence. Some guests have reported that after checking in, their belongings were moved and found in strange and unusual places. I would hate that. Don't touch my stuff.
That happens already in my house, but that's because I have kids.
Your kids, yeah. Kids, spirits, same thing.
Yeah.
Right? The most haunted room in Madrona Manor is room 101. So we got to go try that
Gotta
one.
go stay in 101.
Yep. The widely known story here is that a guest was sleeping here when, in the middle of the night, they awoke to find an apparition of a woman in her 30s wearing a long black dress with the black ribbon tied around the collar of her dress, standing right next to the bed. Yeah, the apparition moved to the side of the guest's bed to sit upon a blue velvet chair by the window. The guest freaked out to have someone in their room and asked what she wanted, but then the black clad woman disappeared.
Ooh,
So room
that's
101.
a good one.
Yeah. Another tale involves a guest who is called Mrs. P. She was having dinner in the dining room when she looked up and noticed one of the French doors open and a small gray-haired lady slowly entered. She looked out of place because she was wearing period clothes from the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. P's gaze upon the elderly lady never left as she glided over to her. And at this point, she was standing right next to her.
Wow.
Then the lady spoke. She told Mrs. P, "I'm glad you can see me. I feel so bad that no one else can. This was my house once, and I like what's been done to it. I'd like to tell someone that. Now you can tell them." Then she suddenly vanished.
Wow, that is cool. I have chills. That is awesome.
So, like, totally talk to her.
That is so cool. Why was Mrs. P able to see her?
Maybe she's just more sensitive than everybody else.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. No one else saw her. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, I'm so glad that she's happy that her house is like. she
Yeah,
likes the
they're
house.
not. Yeah, they're just watching because they like it.
Yeah,
They're happy.
They're like,
They're
we're gonna
it's
keep
being
living
used
here.
Yeah. Other reports of supposedly Hannah Paxton as guests see her dressed in completely black. So I don't know if the one in 101 is her,
Yeah.
but
From when she was like 30.
yes,
Yeah.
but she's showing up often.
How cool.
Yes.
Aw.
Another report was when a guest was sleeping, he was suddenly awakened and watched a teacup in their room turning completely around 360 degrees on its own. He was awake by then, or she.
That's fun.
Like, why? Why are you playing with my teacups?
Maybe they wanted to go to Disneyland and be the teacups.
That's a symbol. It's a sign.
That's
Oy.
so fun.
Yes.
I like that one.
Some also say they see a young girl's apparition, but the identity is unknown. I don't know much about that,
Ooh.
but supposedly she's seen.
Interesting.
Now, I checked room prices.
Yes.
If you have a penny or two to spare, I'm sure it's worth checking in for the beautiful scenery and possible glimpses of some ghosties, but it's roughly $1,000 a night. A night.
Okay, when we win the lottery.
Yeah, it's pricey, but it's gorgeous. That's why it's so
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's very peaceful, they say, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that money. So.
No.
You guys can come fund us if you want.
We'll start a GoFundMe
Yeah.
so that we can go on our mom trip and then tell you guys about it.
Yeah. We'll investigate the ghosts.
Yay.
All right, next. Ties into our movie, Winchester Mystery House in San Jose.
Yay.
Yeah. So this next house, it's discussed so much as one of the most haunted homes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It being haunted for me is up to debate.
I've seen a lot of ghost hunters go there and check it out, including my favorites, Ryan and Shane. They've been there a couple of times.
Okay.
And
Anything happen? No.
It's a cool, crazy house.
It
but,
is. It's fascinating.
I mean, it's spooky just because of the way it's put together. It makes no
Right.
sense and it's very odd. And I think it would be really cool to go see.
I agree.
I don't think it's haunted.
I don't either. But let's go into the details.
But I like the stories that surround it and I like the mystery that surrounds it. But
Yes.
I don't think it's haunted.
No. Okay. Well, you guys tell us what you think. But let me go into why people think it is and what's the background again. Because I'm sure most people have heard of this. So here's some photos. We know there's just things that lead to nowhere, obviously. Stairways that go nowhere, doors that open out to like the outside. So Sarah Winchester, born into a world of privilege, married William Wirt Winchester, heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, in 1862. They had a baby girl together, Annie Pardee Winchester, but sadly she was diagnosed with marasmus, a form of severe malnutrition characterized by energy deficiency. She sadly passed away after 1 month in the world.
Aww.
Yeah. In 1881, William Winchester passed away from tuberculosis, and Sarah also lost her mother and father-in-law around the same exact time.
Oh my gosh.
So
poor
much.
Sarah.
Yeah. This led Sarah to inherit roughly $20 million, 50% of stocks in Winchester Arms, which left her to make roughly $1,000 a day. I looked this up. It's roughly about $30,000 a day today.
Yeah. That's insane.
$30,000 a day.
Yeah. Would you trade your entire, like
Family?
all of your loved ones,
True.
your family, for $30,000 a day?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
No.
Not in any
Never.
scenario ever.
No, ever.
Yeah.
A few years later, Sarah's eldest sister passed away, and then Sarah started to develop rheumatoid arthritis. Her doctor suggested moving to a warmer and drier climate to help with this, so in 1885, Sarah decided to move to California. She had fond memories of San Francisco with her husband. She took her 3 sisters with her, and she bought a 45-acre ranch near San Jose. On the property was a 2-story, 8-room farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
2-story, 8-room. Crazy. She named the home Llanada Villa, based on Llanada Alvisa from the Basque area. In 1890, Sarah's favorite niece, Marion Merriman, a.k.a. Daisy, came to live with her. She was around 21, and Sarah hired her as her administrative assistant, taking care of her banking and business correspondences. Now, it is said that because Sarah was grieving the loss of her baby and husband, she consulted in a medium while living in Connecticut before her move. So from these other resources, it is said the medium channeled William and had told her to move from New Haven to California. Okay, so we've got these two contradicting stories, right? That same medium also told her while making contact with William's spirit, he told her to use a fortune to build a home for the spirits who had fallen victim to Winchester rifles. And if she didn't, she would be haunted by them for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I'll say my thing after.
Good.
Finish your thing.
Okay. Now, Sarah did hire 2 architects to work on the ranch house, but after talking to them, she fired them both. She was not happy. She decided she took on the planning herself and then hired carpenters to work around the clock. Now, it is known that she would start to build rooms, halls, stairways, etc. And from Wikipedia, it is said that if it did not meet her expectations, she would abandon that project and move on to something different. But most sources say that this was to confuse spirits that were haunting or planning to haunt her. Seriously, though, it's strange. Construction took place in her home 24/7, all day, all around, for 38 years. And why build staircases that lead to nowhere, elevators that do not work, and doors opening up to walls, etc.? She also demanded her home to be built with entirely red wood, but didn't like how it looked, so she demanded it to be covered with a stain and faux grain. By the time everything was finished, even it was still under construction, it apparently took 20,000 gallons of paint to cover the wood. 20,000 gallons.
Wow.
And construction kept going, like I said, until the day she died in September of 1922. By the turn of the century, the home was 7 stories with approximately 500 rooms, 47 fireplaces, 10,000 panes of glass, 2 basements, and 3 elevators. An annunciator, early form of an intercom, was installed in order to call servants. But the house was embellished with posh fineries like gold and silver chandeliers, stained glass windows created by Tiffany and Company, state-of-the-art plumbing and electrical work, and even forced air to heat the home. Then in 1904, a massive earthquake struck the San Jose area, and the home was okay but caused some damage. In the end, they removed the top 3 floors of the home, and today the mansion is 4 stories, and there are 161 rooms now.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So it went from 8 rooms to 161.
Yes. I mean, it was 500 at one point.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Holy
true.
crap.
That's
so,
crazy.
Yeah, that earthquake. So stated, though, that there are different accounts as to why Sarah moved back to California. The medium path was from author Susie Smith in her book, Prominent American Ghosts. However, the contractors Sarah hired to work on her home day and night did witness her having daily seances with local mediums, but supposedly in order to contact the quote-unquote good spirits. And these spirits were consulted on how best to appease them in her house construction. It is said that she built 13 bathrooms, but only 1 was functional.
Oh my goodness.
So, and reason why? Because ghosts wouldn't waste the water bill or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
They
one bathroom for her and the other ones were for the ghosts.
Yes.
Okay.
Then she would sleep in a different room every night while using the secret passageways to ensure the ghosties wouldn't follow her.
Okay.
So again, there's just these contradicting things, but there are eyewitness accounts of her doing some pretty odd things.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yes. Okay, I'll dive into my thing.
Okay.
I think that after she experienced so much loss and so much heartache and trauma, and because she had so much money and had nothing to basically live for, just all she could do was spend money, and it kept her busy.
True.
So I think that's why she was like, oh, let's keep building. It keeps her doing something. It keeps her active. It keeps her moving. And there really wasn't a whole lot that she could do, especially as she developed rheumatoid arthritis. Mm-hmm. So I think there were a lot of things that were plaguing her, and I'm sure that messed with her brain a little bit. Anybody that has a lot of money like that, to me, in my opinion, a lot of people will develop a lot of eccentricities.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that could have been a lot of what was going on. She could have had seances because that would make her feel more connected to her family members that had passed. And she could afford it, so why not? Like,
True.
If you could feel a connection,
you want,
if you could feel a connection with people that had passed, and a medium can help you feel that connection, and it makes you feel better for that. I mean, why not do it every
Yeah.
day if you can afford it? And
If you can do it, yeah.
if you
That's
can
not
do
so-
it
that's
and
a good
get,
idea.
get something to make you feel better every day, then it makes sense. And she's not an experienced builder. So, and it was her, and she was the one employing everybody. So, I mean, it makes sense that she would start something and be like, no,
don't
this
want
isn't
it.
working out the
Yeah.
way that I want it to, or I abandoned it and move
Yeah.
on to something else. I do that with crochet projects 24/7, right?
I like that you compare building to crochet. I love it.
Well, it's the same thing. It's, it's
True.
her creative outlet, and you get going on something and you're like, this isn't going in the direction that I want. So you move on to something else. And, wanting everything built in redwood, but not liking the way it looks and then repainting it is just an eccentricity.
Sure.
I can't say that word. Eccentricity. There we go. It's just a quirk that she has, and she
can do it.
She can do it. So she was just like trying to find a way to not have this money in her hands.
Yeah.
Now, all of the stories that are associated with this, which I'm sure you're going to dive into, that I think all of that is once they decided to take the house, because immediately after she passed, people started to tour the house.
Yes,
and
I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that
Could trigger things.
I think people started really embellishing her eccentricities
Sure.
and weaving their own story to make it make sense. And of course, it adds a whole lot of fascination.
Mystery.
That the Winchester rifle killed all of these deaths, and so she was building all these houses to confuse the spirits that her rifles. I'm like, I don't think that is really part of it.
Sure.
I think that has been developed and embellished to get people more excited and to bring up the hype and
make more money.
Yeah.
Money,
So that's
money,
what I
money.
think. I think, she was an eccentric woman. Oh, I said it right. She was an eccentric woman who had a lot of
eccentricities, though. That's the hard word.
Yeah, I can't do that one.
But eccentric, yeah.
Eccentric. So she had a lot of things happen in her life that caused a lot of trauma. She had a lot of money that she couldn't spend fast enough, so she was just doing whatever she could.
Yeah.
And she had the means and the ability to just keep building and keep herself busy and keep herself involved in something.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really what was going on with her. She had a lot of heartache. So of course she would have, people coming in to try to help her with that. And she felt solace in the seances. And I think we've built up a huge story to kind of make it more exciting to go visit her.
That makes sense.
That's what I think.
I like it. All right.
Okay, but back into it. The house is still insane, and I still want to go see it because it's gorgeous and weird, and
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, after Sarah passed away in her sleep from a heart attack in September, strangely, in her will, she left all her belongings to her niece Daisy. But as for the house, it was left to nobody.
Oh, she left all of her belongings, but not the house.
Correct.
Did she think that the house was part of her belongings?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe, again, that kind of fuels that thought process of this belongs to the spirits. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because of the earthquake damage, though, and the craziness of the design, appraisers considered the house worthless. Worthless. It was auctioned off to a local investor for a mere $135,000.
I'd buy it for $135,000.
I would too. In 1923, the home was opened, as you said, to the public for tours. What's crazy is that even up to this day, secret rooms and things have been discovered.
They're still discovering it. Wow.
Yeah. And it's called the Winchester Mystery House because to this day, we still do not have a solid answer as to why Sarah Winchester designed her house the way she did. Angela's got her theory. I agree. It's just what she wanted to do. Paranormal investigators have not come up with much spooky things in the home, and there are not a lot of visitors who claim to see or feel ghosts, but here are the few claims.
Okay.
Now, there is a residual haunting, they say, in the grand ballroom in the basement. Here, people claim to see the famous wheelbarrow ghost who is constantly working on the fireplace or pushing a wheelbarrow full of ash or coal. They have a picture. This is on the Winchester Mystery House website. This is the picture they posted.
Yes.
This is the ghost they see.
They
see exact spitting image of this
I've
guy.
heard of him in the basement. And,
Yeah.
and I know, I keep saying Sean and Wayne. Ryan and Sean. I don't know why Sean and Wayne. That's what's in my head.
Okay.
But Ryan and Shane that was like a dare, or not a dare, but that was part of it. They had to be in the basement.
Got it.
I've heard stories about him in the basement. Yeah,
specifically. Then the website also mentions quote unquote intelligent hauntings, where visitors will experience gentle tugs on shirts or skirts during tours. But long-term maintenance worker Denny has reported that one morning after entering the water tower, he heard footsteps above him. He quickly tried to catch this person and went to the top to tell the three tell him that the 3-story structure was off limits. But the footsteps always seemed to be one step ahead of him and one floor above. When he finally got to the roof, nobody was there.
Oh,
so
that
was kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
And the most common reports are of shadow figures. Shadow figures are shadowy shapes that resemble people, are always roaming around corners, down long hallways, and appearing in windows. A former marketing director employed by the house captured the photo below in 2015. They can't tell if it's an apparition or reflection of the clouds.
I've seen this picture.
What do you think?
Okay.
Do you see it?
Wait, hold on. Oh, I was thinking of a different picture. I'll tell you of a different picture too that I've seen.
Do you see it though?
Wait.
Look for it. I know it looks like
well,
it's
your microphone's in the way.
Oh, boo.
Oh, well, that kind of looks like it would be.
If you look really close, it does look kind of like a person. It looks like it could be a curtain, but it
looks like a curtain that's kind of like balled
stuck.
up, like maybe they were cleaning.
Sure.
Because I've seen that happen before, when they're cleaning and it's a long curtain, they ball it up so they don't.
But I don't know why they think the marketing director, maybe he knew something we didn't, but he took this picture, or she.
Okay. So yes. So another picture that I have seen on a different paranormal investigation show, and let's see, I'm trying to think of, I can't remember what it was, but it was, they took a picture on the grounds in front like that, and it was just a group picture, and then there was like a shadowy figure standing next to them or standing by them or behind them. Okay. And they thought it looked kind of like a Civil War kind of guy, but he was like out on the grounds. Okay. And it showed up in the photograph. And I don't remember much. Oh, I wish I could remember, because it was years ago that I watched that paranormal, and I think it was a YouTube thing. So if anybody knows what I'm talking about, I want to say it was Colin, what's his name? The blonde hair guy. He's got long blonde hair. His name's Colin. He does a whole big paranormal, like a long thing. But anyway, I think it was his, and it's on the grounds, and then you see this like, it looks like a cloudy white kind of figurey thing that's there. And then I've heard that picture was debunked as, also kind of like a marketing kind of thing. So I don't know.
Who knows for sure?
Who knows?
Womp womp. Who knows? Well, finally, in 1983, ABC News interviewed Debbie and Ernie, a couple who would watch the Winchester house at night. Debbie claimed that the first week they moved in, she felt a hand move across her head.
No, don't like that.
Nope. And all day she couldn't shake if she was going crazy or if she really felt it. Then every other night, the alarms went off. They couldn't find anything. It would just go off on its own. They also had a trained guard dog with them, and he would get really shy in one particular hallway every night.
Ooh.
In order for him to go down it, Ernie would have to shine a flashlight down the hallway for him to see. Sometimes Ernie would catch movement from the corner of his eye in that hallway as well.
Ooh. That's creepy. I don't like it when the dogs don't like what's going on.
Because dogs have a good sense of things. Mm-hmm. And if they don't want to go, you don't want to go. Yeah. I'm going to trust that dog.
Yeah. Trust the dog.
Trust the dogs. So that's the Winchester house.
Okay. So there might be some things there that are going on.
Could be some residual things.
But I don't think it's Sarah. I don't think it's...
No.
She's never been mentioned on any of this stuff. Yeah.
No, I think it's something else is happening, but maybe it's manifestation too.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
we believe that there's something there, then
you bring it and you, you're opening yourself up to the possibility, and they find that
there you go
opening, they find that portal, so it'll come on through. Yeah. So interesting.
We'll go into the movie review later.
Oh yeah.
But we got two more.
Okay. Well, we'll do movie review later.
Don't you do it.
I won't. I'm like so tempted right now, but I
don't
can't.
Don't do it. I got some too crazy more stories. So
Okay.
the Vineyard House in Coloma. Now, this crazy tale behind the Vineyard House starts in the late 1800s when German native Martin Althoff and Scotsman Robert Chalmers traveled to California hoping to strike it rich during the gold rush. They both ended up in Coloma, and although they both did find gold, it wasn't enough to make them filthy rich. So they both changed tactics. Althoff decided to produce and sell wine, while Chalmers became an innkeeper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Nice pivot.
Yeah, like, okay, we'll do something different. At the time, Althoff was married to a woman named Louisa, and both of them were very successful as vintners, owning many vineyards and wine cellars. But then Althoff was arrested for alleged tax and liquor license violations.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, but this sent him into a spiral of shame as he felt he dishonored his family and his family name.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
At the age of 40, Martin Althoff committed suicide.
40, that's
40.
so young.
Now, Robert Chalmers, we're going to go to him. He was doing great in his own little world because he had purchased the Sierra Nevada Hotel. Not sure what he was thinking, though. In that time where liquor ran abundant, he said the hotel would be limited to I can't even see this word. Teetotalers. Do you remember? Do you know what that is?
Teetotalers?
Yes, teetotalers. This was back then. These are people who would not drink at all.
Oh. Interesting.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, you can guess
Especially if his buddy, like, so, okay.
But yeah, they're friends, but they're in their own worlds. But he's like, no, I don't want any rowdiness. I don't want anything going on in my hotel.
Because when people are drunk, they act
They
like
ruin-
toddlers and
yes,
they wreck everything.
They
yeah.
ruin everything. So he's like, no,
Okay.
I'm just going to do these. It's a very religious almost. But you can guess what happened. Yeah, it was empty. The hotel did not make any money. Now, at that time, his friend Althoff that was deceased, he envied his success. So what does Chalmers do? He marries Louisa.
Oh, no.
It's like, hey, all right, yeah, let's get married. You don't have a husband anymore, and So she owned all of the vineyards, winery, and cellars, as well as all of Martin's assets. They were married in 1869, and just like that, he was a successful vintner now.
Did he then allow wine in his hotel?
I don't know if he's kept that hotel,
Oh.
but he had the winery. He's winning awards for his delicious wines. And in 1878, Chalmers decided to build his dream home in Coloma, which would also double as one of the finest hotels in Northern California. The grand opening to his dream home and hotel was held on April 4th, 1879, in which he held a large party. So this was like a drawing of it when it was first.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, I have more, but
Okay.
that was the kind of, I have a drawing of it that was when it first opened. It looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Chalmers?
yes, and this
And
is
Louisa.
Louisa. There you go.
I got it. I'm
You
listening.
got it. Now, this was definitely the opposite of his first hotel, as the elite would travel to here, and it was extremely successful. Even former President Ulysses S. Grant visited the Vineyard House, where he discussed the Civil War. Here, Chalmers announced he was elected to the state legislature.
Oh,
So he
okay.
was making it up big.
Mm-hmm. You just marry the woman that inherited everything, and hey, you're set.
Now you're set. But Chalmers' luck and success quickly took a downturn when his health worsened. From the blog of My Family of Origin, Chalmers started with a loss of memory. He'd say one thing and do another. He became short-tempered, frightening his wife and children as well as the household staff.
Alzheimer's.
He would watch a grave being dug in the cemetery right across the street from the mansion where Althoff was buried. He'd go and lie in it, his arms crossed over his chest in the traditional position. His family and staff would have to restrain him and bring him home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
So
Oh,
we
man.
learned later that this was all due to Chalmers contracting syphilis.
Oh, no.
His behavior was so erratic that servants threatened to quit. Louisa, extremely frightened for her and everyone else's safety, constructed a cell with iron bars in the basement. She tricked Chalmers to going into the cell and locked him in.
Oh, wow.
Of course, he wasn't quietly sitting in his cell daily. He would writhe, moan, cry out, and bang his head against the bars.
Yeah, because he's stuff, it's eating his brain.
Exactly.
He has no brain
No
left.
brain.
But they don't know that.
Nope. They didn't know what's going on.
Oh.
So soon he went completely blind and mumbled to himself throughout the day. Chalmers was treated civilly, being fed daily and checked upon, but no one really wanted to go down to the basement.
No, because his brain is literally being eaten.
Creepy.
Poor guy.
Then he started to believe Louisa was trying to poison him, so he refused to eat. In 1881, he starved to death in his cell.
That's sad.
Louisa lived until 1900. Chalmers and Louisa were both buried in the graveyard across the street that overlooks the Vineyard House. Soon after Louisa passed, very strange occurrences happened in the home.
Oh.
Most believed that Robert Chalmers' spirit refused to leave the house. Tenants would complain about mysterious voices and sounds of ghostly footsteps and stomping in the middle of the night. The Vineyard House remained a rundown rooming house and restaurant. Guests complained of hearing metallic clangs and heavy breathing. And that's him.
Cell, yeah.
In 1975, a former restaurateur decided to buy the mansion and make renovations. But it was tough. Apparently, he would order colors, wallpaper, accessories, and every time his order arrived, they were completely contrasting shades.
What?
Every single time. It happened over and over. He felt as if something didn't want him to change the house.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Like you order something and you send, there was no internet at that time.
Right.
So you'd send out your catalog, you call people, and things came back completely different.
That's
Every
crazy.
time. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What? I would be going insane if that happened to me.
Right? I'd be so mad.
This is not what I
I
ordered.
don't want this. Now, things would end up moving around the mansion on their own. He would see a treasured bud vase disappear and then reappear in a very unlikely spot. And what's even spookier is he found old style wood coffins under the porch during restorations.
What?
Now, supposedly, I didn't know this, the basement held a jail at one point.
Well, is that where they had
They had him, but I didn't know if they held other people because prisoners in the 1800s would be executed in the front yard from an old oak tree.
Oh.
Where did that come from? I don't know. That was just snuck in. I was like, holy crap.
But, yeah, I know. More details on that, please.
Right? I didn't see anything about that. Another coffin was discovered in an old crawl space. So we got some spooky things going on.
Yeah, that is insane.
That's some weird energy. Now, one couple who was staying the night in an upstairs room said they were sleeping when suddenly they were awakened by the sound of loud, drunken men walking into the hallway downstairs. They were singing and laughing and very raucous. So the husband stuck his head out of the bedroom door in order to tell them to be quiet. But what he saw made him question if he was awake or asleep.
No.
3 men were dressed in Victorian clothing and ascending the stairs, but then they vanished. Nope. Another couple was so frightened by what they saw that they packed up and left in the middle of the night. But when asked what happened that scared them so badly, they refused to say what it was.
Oh, wow.
Didn't
They're like,
even wanna
no
talk
one's
about
going to
it.
believe me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it. Oh, that's crazy.
The basement was turned into a bar. One late night, the owner was cleaning up and wiping. And he said that there was one last glass at the far end of the bar and he was cleaning. The glass began to shake and suddenly it slid all the way across until it finally stopped right in front of him. They're trying to help him out, apparently.
Oh, no.
Now, from the blog spot Gold Country Girls. So this blog spot's cool. They take lots of vintage. They're about vintage photos, vintage things. And they posted a ton of vintage photos of the old Vineyard House. A few people wrote in with their experiences.
Nice.
Yeah. Some were most of them were fond. It was funny. This is off my notes. They're all talking about the chicken and dumpling recipe. Like it was the best ever.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they're like, we need the recipe. It was funny. Everybody's like, I've had that. I want it too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to go there and eat chicken and dumplings.
Well, it's closed. So
Oh,
I'll go about that. Yeah,
man.
I know.
Oh, okay.
The Vineyard House was my go-to restaurant for my birthday back in the late 60s. I loved the chicken and dumplings. Wasn't old enough to drink, but enjoyed the ambience of the entire place. One evening, we were seated right by a screen door that opened, then closed while we were dining, and it was not a windy evening. We just laughed and figured someone had decided to come inside. So sorry, it's still not open.
Aww.
So there's one little one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, next, my mother and I cleaned the place. She was downstairs still vacuuming, and I'd went upstairs to start to the bathroom. I heard voices and footsteps up the stairway and called out to my mom several times. I finally stopped and looked towards the door. There was a beautiful piece of furniture across the doorway in the hall. It was a bench, mirror, and coat rack combo. I would call it a seated hall tree. I saw someone walk past the door. What I mean to say is I saw a reflection in the mirror. It took my brain a sec to process what I'd seen. I only saw a reflection in the mirror, but there was no body to make a reflection. I stepped into the hallway, hair standing on end, and called to my mom. I could hear the vacuum downstairs, so I checked every door, and just like we were told by the elderly woman, a character that cooked bread pudding and fed all the cats out the back door every day.
Did she make the chicken and dumplings
I
too?
don't know. I hope maybe. All the guests were gone, and all the rooms were locked.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh.
She saw somebody in there like the nun.
Exactly. Last one. I spent many days and nights here from the time I was 12 years old into my adult life. My brother was one of the owners. I spent a few Halloween nights there, and it was always a great time. My brother was a chef. I grew up eating those chicken and dumplings as they were my favorite.
Nice.
All of the food was excellent. John Wayne had the chicken and dumplings when he visited. He went to the kitchen to pay his respects to my brother and said that it was the best he'd had. As for the spirits, sure, I have sat at the bar and watched glasses move with no one around.
Ooh.
Our sister worked there for a while as a housekeeper. She always had interactions with the spirits. It is believed they were watching over her as she worked. I have had experiences with spirits there during the day, and while sleeping in one of the rooms, the spirits are there. The graveyard on Halloween night is a true experience. So yeah, so I did read, I didn't put anything in here, but the graveyard across the street is also very haunted.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Coloma. But yeah,
That's
it's
fun.
Today, the home, like I said, it's not open to the public. That's what it kind of looks like. That was probably, I think, the 80s.
Uh-huh.
But that's how that looks now.
Oh, that's a bummer that's not open to the public anymore. It'd be cool to go to.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's a crazy story, right?
We can still drive by and like
Coloma.
Yeah, in Coloma. We can drive by it and look at it and then walk around the graveyard.
Yes. I want to do that. Okay, good.
Okay.
My last home is even more insane.
Okay.
All right. This is called the Atherton House, and it's in San Francisco.
Oh.
So we come across a beautiful Queen Anne style mansion called the Atherton House, also known as the Faxon Atherton Mansion. With most haunted homes, the history here feels like the plot of a strange movie.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Faxon Atherton from Dedham, Massachusetts, became a well-known businessman in shipping and trading, mostly between Valparaiso, Chile, and California. He married Domingo Rosario Goni Prieto, who belonged to a prominent Chilean family. In 1860, Atherton decided to move to California and purchased a lot of real estate and land. One particular estate was called Valparaiso Park. Now, even though Faxon landed a wife, he was known to be a womanizer and would travel often for his job and the woman. Domingo, left alone most of the time, decided to take charge of the estates. She was also in charge of the 9 children that they had.
Holy bajolies.
9. One
That
being
is so many kids.
so many. George H. Bowen Atherton. Dominga was known to be a very domineering woman over George and was very overbearing. This is her.
Oh, well, she looks like it.
Yeah,
she's got a very stern brow.
She's got a demeanor.
Yes.
Yeah. Faxon passed away in 1877, and Dominga still controlled all of his estates. She decided to build upon Valparaiso Park, which is now the Atherton House. Now, George was still under his mother's thumb, but had taken with a woman named Gertrude Franklin, a divorcee with a child, whom was being raised by her maternal grandfather, Stephen Franklin, relative of Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, nice.
She was 14 years older than him, so not that bad. He wanted to marry her, but she refused because George didn't even have a job at the time, and his family didn't approve of him marrying a divorcee.
Well, that's very like smart and pragmatic
For
of her. Yeah, I can't say words.
It's okay, you're good. So the romance fizzled, but then soon after, he went after her only daughter.
Oh, gross.
17-year-old Gertrude Franklin Horn.
Gross.
But daughter,
George.
yeah, man, he's just likes this family. Daughter Gertrude denied George over
Good girl.
and over and over, but this just made him want her more. Take a hit, George.
That sucks
No.
so much.
Yep. But no, he proposed 5 times. She said no. Finally, on the 6th try, she basically told him, fine, I don't really care since I have to marry someone at some point. What a great proposal, right? This is Gertrude.
Gertrude. That's no, honey.
Now,
I mean, I know, I get her. She doesn't have any choices. And
back then,
she doesn't have any choices. Her mom is a divorcee.
Right.
That probably left her with not very good standing. And so she didn't have a lot of positions that she could take in society.
Right.
Oh.
Well, don't feel too bad.
Okay.
Okay. In 1876, they eloped and she moved in with George and his mother. They then moved into the Atherton house where Gertrude turned somewhat into his mother, and we become another dominating figure in George's life.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Like I'm I'm sure he was looking for somebody to do that.
Exactly, because his mom did it.
Yeah.
So here, Gertrude, though, began her writing career and focused on something she did enjoy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she was a prominent writer. George was under Dominga's thumb because she was financing all his business ventures that would fail one after the other. Both of the women in his life would often humiliate George in public. In 1887, after having about enough of his miserable home life, he decided to take up an offer to sail to Chile when visiting Chilean naval officers inquired for him to visit. The next morning, after a good night's rest, he thought that maybe he didn't need to get away until Gertrude began to get on George's case. Said to him, if you have any pride, you will stay here in San Francisco and make something of yourself. And that convinced George to pack up and go. It's like, oh, I'm done. Never mind. I'm going to make my decision.
Oh, that's awesome.
So unfortunately for George, during the sea voyage, George's kidney started to fail.
Oh, no.
And he died on the ship.
Oh, no.
Since George was seen as an illustrious San Franciscan, the captain decided, because they didn't want to turn around, they'd drop his body. He put his body into a barrel of rum to be well preserved. He's like, he needs a funeral. I'm sure people are want to see him. We're going to stick him in this big thing of rum.
To me, this is ironic. Okay. Cause I don't know if he had a drinking problem, but normally when you have kidney issues and he had overbearing wife and mother, I could see that would lead to kidney issues, that he would have a drinking issue. So how ironic is that he's being preserved in
a big barrel of rum.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy. This needs to be a movie.
That's what I'm saying, right? This should be. So they stuff his body in the barrel of rum. They drop him off in Tahiti.
Tahiti?
They're like, okay, we're on our way still. We're going to put you in Tahiti. Then we're going to keep going. We're going to call people to go pick you up. So they did. They picked him up. Another ship did. And they delivered him to the Atherton mansion, in which supposedly the butler popped open the barrel to serve rum. And then the whole family found out it was George had died. They're like, oh.
That is the worst way to find out your son and husband died. But knowing these women, they were probably like, let's drink the rum. Drink the rum anyway.
It might taste kind of good. Who knows? So.
Oh, no. Or they'd be like, George, you're always ruining everything.
That's probably more
like my gosh.
So yeah.
This is crazy.
It's insane. I told you this should be a movie.
Oh, dude.
But soon after, strange things started happening around Dominga and Gertrude. They thought they heard him knocking on the bedroom doors and felt cold spots in the house. Gertrude soon packed up and left. She even wrote, I had an uneasy feeling that George would haunt me if he could.
Well, yeah, he was crazy obsessed with her.
Yes.
Oh, George.
And Dominga passed away in 1890, and the mansion was sold and passed around until 1923. The history gets a little hazy here, but without me purchasing books, because there are many books about this house, what I found is that it was most likely purchased by Charles Rousseau, architect, and he separated the mansion into 13 apartments.
Oh, weird number, man.
I agree. Now, what most websites state is that Carrie Rousseau bought the home, his wife. But what I can gather, piece together, is that Charles must have passed when the apartments were finished, and his widow, Carrie, moved into apartment 13. That is, everybody says. She moves into apartment 13. This is where the orchestra chamber of the grand ballroom was at one point. Then, in the adjoining apartment, which was formerly the banquet hall, she housed her 50 cats. One apartment for 50 cats. She is the epitome of the crazy cat lady.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
A whole room, just for her cats.
That's too many cats.
That room
I
must
think
have
I have
stunk.
too many alpaca. I have 11, but
They're
too many
outside.
cats. There, I know.
This is inside.
Holy crap. This is my youngest dream, though. She would love that many cats.
Oh, 50. Now,
Oh,
Rousseau
dude.
lived in her cat haven until 1974 at the age of 93, and she
Did
passed.
other people live there too?
I think so.
Oh,
I
my
think so,
goodness.
but it's, because there's 13 apartments, I'm guessing, but I don't know for sure. At some point, though, as I'm going to say now, is that there have been tenants living there still. So it was an apartment building for a while. Now, over the years as an apartment complex, many of the Atherton house's tenants claim the place is haunted by multiple ghosts.
Cats?
Maybe. Singer Aurora Booth told the San Francisco Chronicle that she would experience a mysterious rushing wind that blasted through her small apartment.
It's a cat running.
Yeah, but
It's
no windows were open, right?
Yeah.
Jerry Landewig, a dental assistant, claimed that sometimes when she would start to drift off to sleep, a mysterious rapping would start out of nowhere and wake her up. One tenant was living in the tower apartment when he suddenly saw a whole gathering of ghosts, and this prompted him to move out soon after.
He's like, nope.
Nope, too many.
Nope.
I can't deal with many ghosts.
Yeah.
But the 4 ghosts that supposedly haunt the Atherton house are Dominga, Gertrude, George, and Carrie. Most tenants that have lived there complain of cold spots even in the middle of summer, the random rushes of air when the windows aren't open, and lots of knocking, especially in the middle of the night, just like it was said. It is said if you are a male inside the home, you experience way more turbulence than the female spirits because they don't like them.
Yeah, that makes sense. They were very dominating.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, male tenants and guests have complained of items moving on them constantly. One tenant reported seeing a strange glowing ball of light from an unseen source. Even tenants who park their cars on the street outside, they start to honk for no reason.
Oh no.
Then stop. It's not a car alarm, but actual honking from inside their cars.
That's crazy. Oh, how weird.
Now, even though most of the tenants believe their hauntings were caused by George, ghost hunter Sylvia Brown held a seance in the home to identify the spirits that are still lingering. She claimed that there is a male spirit here, but he's so pale and frail. There's nothing to fear from him. But bad vibes could come from female ghosts who want things done their way and won't tolerate much male interference.
Okay.
She even went on to suggest the building would make an ideal women's resource center.
Nice.
Yeah.
Female power. I love this place.
It's crazy. Now, lastly, this is funny. It's not much of a paranormal story. I found this news article and I was like, I have to tell you guys.
Okay.
In October of 2022, landscapers were working in the yard when they discovered metal buried underneath. They had more crews come in and call police once they realized they had discovered a buried Mercedes-Benz convertible
What?
in the backyard.
What?
Yes.
Oh no.
Johnny Brocktoon Liu had owned Atherton House in the 1990s, and their Mercedes was reported stolen in nearby Palo Alto in September of 1992. Police pieced together that Liu, shadiest of the shades,
Oh no.
had buried the car for insurance fraud purposes. He even hired people to sink his yacht in 1999 because it was worth $1.2 million to cash in on the insurance.
Oh no.
Liu was even convicted of murder decades ago, accused of killing his then girlfriend. He served 3 years, but was released by the Supreme Court, which when evidence came in that it was an accidental shooting at a gun range. They had evidence. They had videos and things. She accidentally shot herself.
Oh, wow.
Lou passed away years ago. And here's the image of
oh
them
my gosh.
with the
Mercedes Benz. Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, what in this whole crazy story of this house? Of course, a Mercedes Benz is buried in the backyard.
I love this house.
The Atherton house, everybody.
The Atherton house. This is such a crazy story.
Yes, I told you.
Oh
it's
my
a movie.
gosh. It is a movie.
We have to go visit it.
It's beautiful. I would love to go visit it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That story is just blowing my mind.
amazing.
It's so funny. Like this really does have to be a movie.
I
and
told
there's
you.
so many ways to,
And
to take this
it's
story.
unbelievable. You're like, no, this is fake, right? No, this all actually happened.
Oh, I want to see what Greta Gerwig can do with this as a movie, right? Wouldn't that be hilarious for her to turn this into a movie?
Female power.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it. Oh, okay. If you guys have been to any of these places or have any other haunted house stories that you want us to tell us about, please email us at theominoussitch@gmail.com. You can also see these show notes or any show notes from previous episodes on our Podbean. So if you go to podbean.com and type in the Ominous Stitch podcast, you can re-listen to old episodes and get to know our little notes and check those out and see all the links and pictures and things that we have there. You can also click on the little button in the upper right-hand corner. You guys know this by now. It's called Become a Patron.
Woo woo.
And join our little patron army. Join our little Stitchers. If you do, thank you so much, because that really helps us to continue to make these podcasts for you guys.
Yes.
And it just helps us. It's another way for us to connect with you guys. There is exclusive patron-only episodes that you can listen to.
We'll make more, I promise.
Yes, we have plans. We
Yes.
have plans. We just need time.
More time.
More time. And we'll make those episodes for you. But there are some already. And we also send you things. We give you shout outs. We have patron exclusive things, and it's a way to strengthen our community and strengthen our connection with you guys.
Yeah.
So become a patron
Become
today.
a patron.
You can also jump on any of our social medias and give us a little shout out and talk to us there. And I think that's all the things I needed to say.
Good
This
job, Angela.
episode was so much fun.
It was
I
amazing.
had so much fun. I can't wait to go and see all these places.
Yes.
And have a little momcation.
Yes. Road trip.
Road trip. Oh, I'm exhausted now, but we still have one more thing to do.
It's movie time.
It's movie time.
This week's movie review is Winchester, released in 2018. IMDb rating of 5.4 stars. The synopsis. Ensconced in her sprawling San Jose, California mansion, eccentric firearm heiress Sarah Winchester, Dame Helen Mirren, believes she is haunted by the souls of people killed by the Winchester repeating rifle. So exactly what we, just said about the house. But yes, Dame Helen Mirren, which does a great job.
Her so much. She's amazing.
Yes, she is. Jason Clarke. I forgot what he's in. I've seen him in other movies.
Yeah, he's in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then Sarah Snook was in Succession, which I just watched all of that.
Oh, I have not seen it.
Oh,
Okay.
she plays
I know you
Siobhan
told me
in
about
Succession.
this. Yeah.
It's a terrible family, and it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
But
Such a
what about
guilty
the
pleasure.
movie? What do you think?
I liked it.
Really?
Yeah. Are
Okay.
you surprised?
Yes. Because I didn't.
Oh, I know. Well, because it's not scary. I mean, there's some scary moments, and
There was some spooky times.
and the possession of the kid is crazy.
That is insane. He did a good job. I always say this is tough for kids in Hollywood to be like in horror movies. I can't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did a good job in it.
Yeah. What do you think about this movie? Was not hitting you? Was it the subject matter?
I just the fact that the subject is kind of neat. The fact that it's like him and he died for 3 minutes in his bullet and he's connected to the house, and it just is this crazy roundabout way for him to come and I don't know. I thought it was too preposterous, I guess.
Too nicely tied together.
Yes,
Too
yeah.
clean,
And at the end, like, oh, he's supposed to kill him with a physical gun of this bullet that he carries. I'm sorry, spoiler alerts. The bullet that he carries, and this is the only way to kill this malevolent ghost that's going to take over. Like,
Yeah.
it's
So
too much for me.
I agree with you on that point that
Okay.
it was the bullet. I liked how his story was tied in and he was able to have that catharsis and forgive
sure.
the wife and move through all of that.
Yes,
I liked that part of the story. I liked
And he
how
didn't
that
believe her. And now
I
he
liked how that
does.
was he was able to see her point of view
right.
and understand himself in the process and understand what was going on with the house.
Sure.
I thought it was a really cool way to tell the story, or even though I think it's largely fabricated, the story is largely fabricated of Sarah Winchester and is she crazy? Was she not crazy? Whatever.
Exactly.
And I like the way that they told the story. I liked the explanation of why she was building the house, the way she was building the house.
Sure.
I thought it was very interesting. I don't believe any of it's true. I think it's all like a big, this is it's a movie. It's a movie.
It's a movie. It's
so none of
very
it's true
large.
other than the house is true.
Yeah,
Did
the
they
house.
film it in the house?
I was just going to say there's facts about this. So they closed the public tours for 72 hours. They did film around the house. They filmed inside. But because it was so cramped inside to film, they moved most of it into the director's home in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they filmed
Interesting.
most of it there. But they did use a lot of footage. From the house.
Yeah. And I'm sure they use that footage to replicate some things so that they
Exactly.
could make it a set and make it more practical for them to move around in.
Exactly. What I didn't like too, Angela, was that the fact that she was building these rooms that replicated where they died, these ghosts died, and then you lock them in with 13 nails. They can't, it's the spiritual number, and that they would have to process that and then they would move on. I felt like that was entrapping the spirits in a way. Like, that's just like, I didn't like that idea either, that concept.
Yeah, well, I think, okay, so the way I understood it is that she built those for the people that didn't really move on.
Right.
So they, if
they're
she couldn't
upset.
help them, if her remorse for them dying from her rifles didn't
So
set
stupid.
them
I'm
free
sorry.
and help them move on,
Yeah.
then she would keep them in the room that they described to her so that they could process it themselves
And
then
move
move on. Yeah.
Still.
But I think it was a way, because I think she felt if she kept them in that room,
then they couldn't.
then they had to face
Oh.
what happened to them and
Just like he
figure
did
out-
with
yeah.
his wife.
Yeah.
I guess it's still just so elaborate.
You don't want to entrap the ghost.
No.
Well, okay, yes, it's elaborate, but also she was making $30,000 a day,
You're right.
and so I mean, I thought it was an interesting way to explain
Sure, I
why
guess.
she did what she did.
Yeah, in a spookier way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I liked the movie. I thought it
Okay.
was, it wasn't as fun as Freaky, but
Definitely not as fun.
yeah, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good,
Sure.
and I love Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, she was great. You
yeah,
know what?
and the sets were beautiful.
They
and,
were.
Yeah.
What got me? One little thing.
I'm like, how is she such a good architect though? Her drawings are insane.
Oh, right? Holy cow.
Yeah.
No, what got me mostly, which is funny, you'll see it in like these shots.
Yeah.
They're showing the trailer on the IMDb I've got up. Is that my husband, the movie guy?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He was like, it just doesn't look like they're always in the same room. It looks like they put like her with a random actor when she had to do her lines, and then him with a random actress because she's probably a lot of money.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
And it just never looks like they're together. And after he said that, I was like, oh my God, now you just ruined the movie for me. 'Cause
Tricks
I can't.
of the trade.
Yeah. And I was like, you're right. It's probably because she costs probably so much money compared to him.
yeah.
So she's probably filming back to back and she's so good. And then they're like, okay, let's use a body double
Yeah.
for most of the other stuff. I'm like, great. Thank you for ruining the movie magic for me. So there you go.
That's what you get for marrying somebody who's in the industry. They
Always,
know all the
always.
tricks. Yeah.
Throughout movie, oh, this ADR is so bad. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. So yeah, that's that one little thing. But it's a fun, I guess, story, like you're saying.
Yeah, I thought it was like a nice. I like the tie-ins. I like the wrap up. Did it go overboard a little bit too much? Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a really nice way to kind of present the mystery house and the
Sure.
Winchester story and talk about Sarah and her eccentricities.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
Okay. How many stitches would you give it?
what did IMDb say?
5.4.
5.4. I'd probably go a little higher and give it like a 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it.
No, I didn't really hate it, but it's just not my favorite. I'd give it maybe a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went low. I went high. So
Yeah.
we're averaging at 5. So we're averaging with IMDb.
Oh, we found this on Freevee, but there's multiple ways to watch this. I saw that for free. So
Yes,
you can check it out.
You can watch it for free. It's definitely worth watching it for free if you haven't seen it. And it's an interesting way to connect with the house. And they go through the 1904 earthquake, although they don't.
They say it was more of a ghost thing. Not
Yeah,
an
they think it
earthquake.
was a ghost thing instead of an earthquake. But, whatever.
But, tomato, tomato.
Yeah. But you get to see the house. And
You do.
Yeah,
You do get to see actual parts of the house, which is kind of neat. Yeah, this house is crazy. You can't lie. It's a very, just a massive mystery. So in that aspect, I think that's kind of neat. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to see it at some point.
Yeah. I want to see it in person so I can figure out how it works, because I don't understand how it works.
I think they rope off you
You
can't
can't see everything. Yeah.
because it's
I
dangerous.
know that. Yeah.
And I just read too that because she had that rheumatoid arthritis, those stairs really are like little tiny steps because she couldn't lift her legs very much.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be like taking crazy steps everywhere. But for those are like for the ghosts. Quote, unquote. So, there you go.
The ghost of the mystery house.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. We're wrapping it up for another amazing episode.
Amazing.
So it was really fun. I really enjoy haunted houses.
Me
It's
too.
like bread and butter for me.
So
it
much
makes me
fun
so happy.
stories behind these haunted houses.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Let us know what your favorite one was. And until next time, we'll see you, Stitchers.
See you, Stitchers.